Hello everyone, it's been a while since I've made a video and I thought that the beginning of the current McMeghan World Cup would be a good occasion to make a new one. In this video I will talk a bit about the first round, which has started on the past Sunday, so 3 days ago as I make this video. I will talk a bit about the group, the teams, what I expect to do myself in it, and my projects regarding YouTube and the World Cup itself. So let's start by talking a bit about the standings as it stands. Only 4 games have been played and 3 from US West, and yeah, I mean there isn't much to talk about, I guess, for now, because some little games have been played. About the roster, I'll briefly mention that for the people who are not on McMeghan, that the McMeghan World Cup is a Pokemon tournament where a lot of teams can play by fielding 10 players, 10 starters. 5 players will be in Sun and Moon OU, and 1 player in Auras OU, Black and White OU, DPP OU, and ADV OU. So all the players from those teams technically are from those regions, but yeah, it doesn't always work this way. Anyway, regarding the rosters themselves, I was talking a bit on Discord with some friends like Tama and Pinchinator about this some days ago, and I think the top contenders going into this World Cup are Team US East. Of course, I guess they've won 3 times in the past 4 years, and they look honestly stronger than ever. I don't think they have a single weak spot in the lineup. You can see it here. They have a lot of top players, like current top players like ABR, John, TDK, BKC, and not only as a top player, but they're also insane hard workers like BKC and ABR. TDK2 are known for pumping up a ton of teams for the teammate. They have experience of the pressure of the tournament itself, so once again they are going in to win it again, and it would be no surprise to see them in the final. Also, I think the second best team in the tournament is Spain, who made the semi-final last year and the final the year before, I think, and they're also very solid. A lot of the players have been better and better as years go by, and they are very well rounded all around. They are known to be no slouch in all gens, thanks to the presence of people like M-Dragon, Soulwind, Malikis in the sub, and they've also, I think in my opinion, gotten even better in current gen OU with the rise to stardom of people like Poek, who had an amazing year, and XII, who had a really good year too. Also people like Bluta, Trosco and Reku have also had good results and got even more experience from playing in the SPL, for example. I also think my team, in this case here France, is the first bet one going into the tournament. I think we have I mean, I might be biased because I feel like I know some of those guys' real skill better than some other people, I guess. But yeah, I think we are very good all around. We have a strong old gen. I know some people have doubts on Remedy, but I think he's a very solid black and white player, especially in the World Cup context, because he always cares about this tournament and does more work than the 10 in SPL, for example. And yeah, we've had also the return of Pudush to playing. Our SMOU has gotten the addition of lefties from Team Arfrabs, who has been disbanded from last year. Kigaso made semi of McMeghan 2, and Will You made the final of SPL. So yeah, I think we are pretty good, to be fair. But we've had solid lineups in the past, and we've been blocked in the first round 2 years in the past 3. So it's up to ourselves to play according to the expectations and not blow it up. Regarding the 4th best team, I think it's a toss-up between a lot of them. Like, there are a lot of solid options like Germany, Oceania, but my personal pick and favorite are Brazil. Yeah, I think Brazil is very solid, especially like when you look at the old gen. I think Nintendi, Tamahome, and Tiba are some of the best players you can find with their respective tier. Danilo is no slouch in ADV, although he's been kind of in a slump in the recent years now, like I'd say the past 2 years, but he's shown like some good promises. So I think if he just 3 games after all in the first round, so if he just motivates himself and put in the work, he's definitely solid. I don't have much thoughts of Elodin, so I don't know. I mean, he's solid, but never really been super impressive. I also think the current old gen, the SMOU, could very well be threatening if Kratos Mana helps them as much as he did in the past SPL, because he was one of the best players on the Team Raiders, and he is one of my favorite builders all around. Like, he's super creative, but also solid. Like, the creativity doesn't take away from the solidity of his teams, so I wouldn't be surprised if their SMOU shines too. So that's my overall thought about the top teams going into the tournament. And I'll talk briefly about the round 1 matchups. I'll focus more on the old generations because they are more of my stuff, and I think most people who watch my videos would rather have me talk about old gens, but I'll briefly go over the Sun and Moon pools too. So first pool we have OB, Alexander, Kratos Mana, Freeman. I definitely give the upper hand to Kratos Mana in this pool. One of my favorite player, and he always has great team tournaments. So he's like, he knows how to deal with the pressure, the preparation, and all that jazz. But pretty solid pool overall. OB and Alexander have shown good things in the past years. Second pool, definitely the best pool of the tournament. In my opinion, like, not even old gen have a better pool than this one. Blender, Kickassor with Scarface Mother. Great players all around, and there is some potential for drama, beef, entertainment, whatever you wanna call it. Because these people, like not much of Kickassor, but Blender, Race, Scarface, and Mother, they are not the kind of people to just play and not talk about their performance or the game themselves if something crazy happens or if Axe pops up. Also potential for beef between Mother and Scarface. Anyway, definitely my favorite pool, and I also say that Scarface Mother and Scarface Blender are 2 of the matchups I look forward the most in this tournament. Then we have Sakis, Bengay, Lekan, and Reiku, Crank, or known as Bengay. Best player in the pool, in my opinion. One of my favorite players too, but yeah. Pearl, ABR, Analytic Force, not much to say. ABR is the clear favorite, although I think Pearl is gonna try out a lot in this tournament. I definitely could see him take a game from ABR, honestly. My wild prediction is actually that Pearl will dominate ABR in the game and ABR will need Axe to take it. I don't know, it's just how I feel. Kind of a 100 scale story, you know, for those who watch the OST game. Updated Kanto, FLCL, River Snowy. Not a sexy pool, in my opinion. Upper hand to FLCL, then Kanto. Tricking lefties, OMG, Metal Growth. Solid players all around, especially in OU. Very interesting games incoming. Dexay, Mizutui, Haram, FV. Very glad to see MC Dexay in Sun and Moon. Dexay is also a very strong player. Much like Kratos Mana, like I've explained before, is creative and solid at the same time. And I really like his own vision of the game. He's all about momentum. He's not about like keeping everything in check by using sturdy checks. Like, you know, if you have a standard team in black and white, like for example, let's say you have Tyranitar, Among Us, Skarmory, like that core, with something like, let me think about it. Like it usually goes Keldeo, Hydreigon in the last 2 spots and Garchomp, but yeah. I just want to say that a lot of popular teams in old generation, but in the current gen OU2, they usually revolve around a solid defensive backbone. And they say isn't that kind of player who use those teams. He's usually all around keeping everything in checks, but offensively through momentum, priorities, and whatnot, berries, status. Like, I very much like his own take of the game, and I'm very looking forward forward what he'll be using in Sun and Moon. Vailuza, Obliviate, XII, Brush Brand, definitely upper hand to XII in this pool. Although he's more of an Novas player, so we'll see how he rolls. I'm sure his skills will transition well in Sun and Moon, but I don't have much knowledge on him in this year. Then we have Star, Wilyu, Hypro, or Outrage. I will be rooting for Wilyu as he is my teammate. Not much else to say. Marano, Ned, or Trosco, PDC. Yeah, solid all around. Not much to add. Lighthouses, Expert, and Aditon. Lighthouses, pretty underrated player. He doesn't play much tournament, but I know a lot of Brazilian tournament players like Nintendo and Eternal Spirit rely on him. They've been using his teams and advices when it comes to team and game preparation. So I think he just doesn't play Smogon tournament, but solid players. So we could have some good results from him. Gundra, Sam, Lethargy, Googly. I like Googly as a player. Very creative too. As you can guess from my comments, I just like creative players in general. People that like to think outside the box, use Pokemon that do not see much usage. I know it can be kind of a scrub mentality sometimes, but that's just how I like to see Pokemon games. So yeah, that's why I like Googly. Espion and Ditto aficionado. Till 6, EO, Retributor, Black Oblivion. Okay, not much to add. Yeah, I think this pool is one of the least sexy of the first one, to be fair. Sishigumi2, Eternal Spirit, White Queen, I Love League. This pool is pretty loco, pretty crazy. Eternal Spirit, my teammate in the past SPL among the Tigers. Very aggressive players who always like to make like crazy play in game. He always tries to outpredict, and sometimes it doesn't work, but his game are gonna be fun, that's for sure. So we'll be looking forward then. Also White Queen, super creative too. He uses his own thing. Like his teams are the kind of team that nobody else uses, and it works usually for him, or at least he used to. Haven't seen him play in tournament in a while now. Alkan, Sekata, CPU, John. John definitely one of the. I would just like to say John, in my opinion, the best SMOU player, or at least is in contention for the title, because there are, of course, other great one, but John is very solid. If you look at this tournament history, actually, I have the World Cup plus SPL overall record, and if we go at John, or is it still Brofist in the? Yeah, it's still Brofist in the sheet. He has an amazing track record, 24-12. As you can see, in the past tournament, it's 6-1 in the past World Cup, 2-3 in the one before. I guess not up to his standard, but 5-0 in the previous one again. 3-2, 7-4 in SPL. Well, that dates to black and white. But yeah, as you can see, 6-1, 5-0 in the past 3 World Cup, and he has a 3-0 record in tiebreakers, which is pretty insane. I think he's the best one. I think he's the best tiebreaker player in team tournaments history. So yeah, definitely gonna be the one guy to beat. Adam, Steve Angelo, Rosie TDK, definitely very good pool. Not as good as Kickers or Scarface and all that and that one, but very solid players all around. Like Adam is kind of a mysterious entity. He doesn't really participate on Smogon besides playing team tournaments, and he always gets picks up. And he's shown that, like when he's shown he's kind of a 50-50, I guess. Sometimes he builds, he brings whack teams and it doesn't work, or sometimes he just plays super solid with something unconventional. Steve Angelo, I guess the same could be said about him. TDK very much like more conventional of a player, but very solid too. he's been having a great years. He's established as one of the top tier builder in the past 2 generations and players too now. And yeah, Rosie's also pretty good. Also, although he's kind of shown his process in lower tiers, but he's been picking up current, like how you overuse the tiers, and I think he's a solid player in general. Like, he understands the game pretty well, so we should have solid games in this pool. Looking forward them. Okay, we are reaching the end of Sun and Moon finally. It's been 15 minutes already then. Okay. DD, Sidumas project. Yeah, this pool is pretty unsexy too. No, not looking forward to those games. Destiny Device, Sidumas Pocket, Poek Gypsy King, pretty solid overall. Poek definitely going in at the player to beat, much like John. He's been having an amazing year. Will be rooting for Sidumado as is my teammate. Hero, HR Armored, P2 Ricardo. Kind of underrated players all around, I guess. Hero, I've played this guy in all generations, and he's been impressing me in those games. So we'll see how it does in Sun and Moon. And according to some SMU players, Ricardo is one of those players who has a lot of potential and will eventually become a great player if he improves a bit more. So I don't know, we'll see. Okay, now, oh no, never mind, it's Soras. Not much else to say. Not much to say actually. We'll go over them quickly. Sabela, Zane, XII. Meh. Also use one of my favorite generation to use an understatement. Not a big fan of them. Nintendo, Jimmy Trick, Tsunami. I guess those 3 are good. Yeah, I think none of the Aura's pool looks sexy, to be fair. Okay, black and white now. So we have first Bluey, Funkasaurus, Zoro Dark, Sugar High. And Bluey already beat Sugar High. I think Bluey is the best player in this pool. Like, he's had a great tournament World Cup last year. He has a lot of support from Germany. I think they have a good grasp of the tier, to be fair. Although Bluey is kind of like an uninspired player, in my opinion. Just brings standard balance most of the time. Nothing wrong with that, of course, because they are solid and they win. It just doesn't really appeal to me. You know? Yeah, not much else to add. This pool right here, very good in my opinion. Jade is one of the best black and white player at the moment. His SPL was one of the best SPL I've ever seen. He has an amazing grasp of the tier. He knows what works, and he knows what doesn't. And most importantly, he plays perfectly, almost of the time. Well, not all the time, but yeah, almost. He knows how to get in his opponent's head. He knows when to pull the triggers. So yeah, very big fan personally. And Remedy, like I said in the team presentation real quick, very solid in black and white. I've used a ton of his teams, and usually I don't like most black and white teams from other people than myself in this tier. But Remedy's teams, they've always been working for me, so I know he knows how to build in this tier, and I hope he will be playing as well as he builds, because then I will very much look forward to his game against Jade. AM used to be kind of a TPP legend, not much of a black and white player in the past, but if he returns to his previous form, it will be a threat for sure. Asuya, Sorwin, Posho, Meru. Definitely the two players on the world in this pool are Sorwin, Posho. Sorwin currently in classic playoff, just lost in semi of Smogoncho's playoff. One of the best black and white player on the website. I think everyone knows him for his 5 gens OU skills. So yeah, and Posho has been on the roll. He just reached this final of the Smogoncho for the 2nd time in a row, which has, like, that's a feat only Giga Punch has done in Smogoncho 4 and 5, which was years ago. So amazing feat from Posho. He's been playing on fire. Although he got destroyed by Sorwin in Black and White Cup earlier this year. But yeah. Meru, Asuya, no slouch actually there. Asuya is known to be a very hard worker and he knows how to play black and white. Meru used to be a threat in black and white 1. Not sure how he will play in Black and White 2, and our up to date is in the metagame. But yeah, he has support from DICE in his team though. And finally, my favorite Black and White pool, I think. Actually, I thought it was this one with Remedy and Jade, but it's definitely this one actually. Finchinator, Elodin, Babili, Tuktam. Like I said in the team presentation, in the roster presentation, not much thoughts on Elodin, but Finchinator, one of the most passionate player on the website, definitely, especially Black and White. But he has two very creative players, opponents in the persons of Babido, or known as Iced, and Tokyo Tom. Tokyo Tom just won SPL, and he was in my team, and I know he has a good grasp. He has a good grasp of Black and White, and I wonder how creative he will get, because like he's super creative in test games, but when it's tournament time, a bit less. But yeah, I think Babido is the best player in this pool though. Like, no offense to Finch if you watch this video, but Babi is one of the best player to touch McMeghan, in my opinion. And I know sometimes he's used crazy things that have not worked and that deserved him, but yeah, he knows how to think outside the box and have used some of his very own stuff, I guess, own style. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely wanna see what he brings if he goes outside the norm, which he usually does. DPP now, Tamarum, Undisputed, Joey are three solid players, giving the brand to Tamarondo, one of the best in DPP. Budush, Colchonero, Boy, Jiwachi, pretty good pool. Jiwachi, one very good player, in my opinion. Rooting for Bud though, because he's my teammate. Ono, Iron Bullet, Panamaxis tough. Panamaxis, one of the best to ever touch DPP. Even now, every time he plays DPP, he pulls up amazing results. And he also knows how to build in this tier. Like, I don't very know myself how to build in this tier, but this guy brought teams that make sense. Like, is outside the norm. Like, I've seen him bring a triple electric or things like Spiriton, Spedef, and Empoleon. Those kind of things you don't commonly see, but he always has the results to speak for him, I guess. Okay, well, that's a very interesting pool though. Donut is a good hard worker, and he's been having better and better results in the recent years. He's had a great SPL in GSC. He almost made Classic Playoff. I think he didn't. I'm not sure if he did or if he didn't, but he's had some great Classic tournament performances. Made final of RBY Cup, I think. But yeah, anyway, if he's been put in DPP, I think he's gonna work hard on it, and I wouldn't disregard him. Nightfox is one of the most active DPP player as it stands. Like, every time there is a DPP tournament in Smogon, I see him going far. And for example, there was this ladder tournament, this DPP ladder tournament, and he made the final of it through the winner bracket. When pretty much every like a lot of DPP fans played in it. I'm pretty sure he beat some good players along the way, although he lost to Babili in the final. But yeah, one player to not underrate. And then we have Folgoyo, who was one of the best in the game when he was at his prime, and he just returned to play this one tournament in East. Probably got promised to farm a trophy. Anyway, I think if he goes back to his old self, his old level, and he will probably be getting the assistance of people like BKC in his team, I think we could have some great games. Then ADV. This pool is fantastic. Jabba, M-Dragon, Golden Sun, BKC. Yeah, I think the name speaks for themselves. BKC M-Dragon is probably the game I look forward the most in the whole first round. I'm not sure if it will be good, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Brewing Spikes Fest incoming. Well, Brewing, it's my opinion, you know, but yeah. Yeah, it might be, but just like the name are too good to pass up. I hope one of them try to make things spicy, you know. Ujama, Danilo, Cyberlord, and Kingler. Cyberlord made the final of the ADV Cup. Very solid player in this tier. And like I said, Danilo is pretty good too. Ojama, of course, one of the best to ever do it. So yeah, Kingler is kind of the oddball here. It's just one-on-one game, so he might take a game or two. But yeah, he is definitely the least impressive player in this pool. Smilzo, Fake, Systematitos, Aesop. Asta has been one of the greatest ADV player in the past year. So yes, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have the advantage because Fake has been also pulling out great results, and Fake's actually beat him in SPL. So yeah, he has that going for him. Definitely giving the upper hand to these two. And then we have UD, Dice, Switchwicking, CZ. Not the most impressive ADV players on paper, but Dice just got the second spot in the first classic, in the current classic service regular season standings. So he knows what he's doing. He's in OGen. He already played 2 games. He's good. He's 1-1 right now against UD and CZ. CZ hasn't played much, honestly. I think he's only played 1 World Cup. That's all I remember from him. But he did beat M-Dragon in this one, which was last year, so no slouch, I guess. And Witwickings also made the classic playoff, I think. And he did the last year too, so I know he's an OGen fan in general, OGen aficionados, so I guess interesting games incoming. Dice has been kind of branching out, like he always does that. He doesn't really use super classical stuff, so that's always cool in ADV to not see standard spikes abuse teams. At least in my opinion, I just like to see a different thing. Then we have GSC with my pool against. I will be playing against Bomber, Mystery 378, and ZF. So I will talk briefly about my opponents. ZF never played him in GSC, never really watched him either, but he did just get the first place in the regular season of the classic. So he's been in an OGen mood recently, I guess, on a roll. Like he won the ADV Cup, I know that. I don't know how he did in GSC, but he has that going for him. He's on the roll, so it will be interesting to play him. Bomber, I know he has a banner on Smogon which says something like GSC leader tournament winner. I don't know, but I know GSC is his main tier, and from the games I've seen from him, he always used unconventional stuff. I know he used Tiflogen, for example, in SPL, but it didn't work quite well. So I think honestly some of his team are super whack, and we'll see about that game. And then we have Mr. 378, and it's pretty funny when you think about it, because after this 1-1 of SPL, I will be I will have 6 GSC games under my counter in the team tournaments overall, and half of them will be against this guy in particular. And I'm hoping to go perfect against him. But yeah, our last game was I had to luck him to win, so no slouch once again. Fabfus, Tiba, Betchabaya, AGHD. Tiba, one of the best players in GSC, one of the best all-time record, team tournament record, as you can see here. Tiba, one sec. Tiba is 37-12, like 75% win rate. That's pretty fucking insane, especially when you consider a lot of those games are RBY. Like, you can see the numbers, they're insane. 2-1, 8-2, 3-0, 6-2, 3-0, 10-1. Yeah, Tiba, one of the best player, all-gen player to going into this tournament, and I think he will 3-0 this pool. But yeah, his opponents are good though. None of them are that. Then we have this pool. I like it a lot. Earthworm, Fear, Isa, and MX. Earthworm needs no presentation. He's one of my favorite players of all time, and one of the only player I ever looked up to. So yeah, I love him. Isa, known to be a RBY GSC specialist. Fear, GSC specialist as well. Astamatitos, brother-in-law, I don't know. And MX, known to play ADV, but for some reason he's in GSC. If he's ADV, I don't know what to expect from him in this pool. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Earthworm against Fear and Isa. And then we have IFM, Arifin, Texas, Lavos. Lavos just won the GSE Cup, so he's been on the World too. Maybe he could replicate his success in the World Cup. At least his teammates will hope he does it. And IFM, US, whenever you have a player from US East, you can expect good things from them. So yeah, and I think that concludes it. I repeated a lot of stuff a lot of the same stuff when I think about it, but yeah, I hope it wasn't too annoying. This one is gonna be fun as always. I love team tournaments. They are always great. Lots of games to look forward to. I love the hype, the passion, the drama. And I think that concludes it. I have one video project in the work. I don't know when I will release it. I don't know. It's gonna be again about ADV, but you'll see in due time. Also regarding the World Cup itself, I will definitely make videos about my 3 games against ZF, Bomber and Mr. 378. I might do other games. I don't know if I find something particularly interesting. If I do another game, I might decide to make them about French players, because I will know more about the preparation going into it, so I can explain a few more things than the usual. Rather than a simple game analysis, I could talk a bit about the team building, which I think is worth talking about. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you guys took 30 minutes to reach the end of this video, and see you around.